This is ArQUade. I am Lauren Atkinson.
And I'm Harrison Dominique.
And today we'll be showing you ArQUade. So why we chose ArQUade? We heard/realized that tours would visit the School of Computing and Engineering by request or by request only. We then decided to sit down with Dean Lynn Byers and discussed ArQUade, a simulation video game of the School of Computing and Engineering that would ultimately mimic a tour. We figured that ArQUade would be a perfect way we can spread awareness and give back. And goal. The purpose of ArQUade is to deliver a web-based simulation game mimicking a tour of Quinnipiac University's School of Computing and Engineering rooms. Players will be asked to complete various tasks that will ultimately guide them through the various engineering locations located on Quinnipiac University's Mount Carmel campus. The goal of ArQUade is to excite incoming and prospective School of Computing and Engineering students about their upcoming school year and all things engineering at Quinnipiac.
And technologies used. On the left side/client side is our user interface and all things related to front-end development. The UI was named Phaser 3, our JavaScript framework, HTML, and CSS. The user interface makes API calls to the web server and receives responses from the server. The user interface does not interact directly with the database. Instead, it passes a request. In the middle of the diagram, the web server, which is also a part of the server side of the application, Harrison and I both took care of that. The web server acts as a bridge between the user interface and the database. The web server is responsible for essentially making the game and all the graphics you will see.
Moving on to the last piece of the server side, our database uses NoSQL as the database language and uses MongoDB to host our database server. The 4 boxes in the database represents the 4 tables where we store data for our project. The data receives updates and queries from the web server and send responses back to the web server. Main features: navigation. Players are able to move throughout Taylor Hall and SOCE and get a 360-degree view of every location in the game. Tasks. Players are able to do tasks in Taylor Hall and SOCE to teach them about the buildings. Saved progress. Players' last location and current tasks are saved. Now we're going to be presenting the demo of ArQUade.
It is Boomer welcoming you on both sides, an enter button in the middle, and a background of the quad and the Arnold Bernhard Library. When we click enter, you are greeted with the how to play scene. When you click next, you will be greeted with 3 different routes. You can go to the Student Center and Taylor Hall entrance, School of Computing and Engineering first floor, or the School of Computing and Engineering lower level.
So the Student Center, if you look at the top of your screen, you have your location, which is in front of the calf. You get the task you have to do, find the Taylor Hall. What I'm going to do now is show you navigation. First, you can move in a 360-degree angle in every location. So now I'm going to go to Taylor Hall, 130. As you know, if you look at location, it updates whenever you move to another scene. When you enter the room, if you look at the top right, it says you're inside of Taylor Hall 130. And if you look at the task, it's now updated with the next one, which is finding Taylor Hall 105. Now we're going to be entering the School of Computing and Engineering first floor. When you click it, it takes you to the entrance near the parking lot. If you look at the top left, you have the location task. The location is currently entrance of SOCE, and the task is find the Dean Suite. So we're going to do the first task, which is finding the Dean Suite. So I'm going to click the left arrow, and I'm going to go forward. As you see in the top left, the location is updating whenever you move forward. Move forward again, location updating. So I'm continuing my way to the Dean Suite. Turn right. As you see, we see the Dean Suite, so we're going to go inside. If you look at the top left, the location updated. We're in the Dean Suite, and the task is now updated to the next one, which is make a 3D cutout in the makerspace. So I'm going to leave the Dean Suite. Now I'm going to show the save progress. So I'm going to leave this building, going to click home. Now I'm going to go back to the School of Computing and Engineering first floor. As you see, my last location, which is the first floor hallway, and the task to make a 3D cutout in the makerspace is saved.
Thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation.
Thank you, and go Bobcats.